Hello everyone, I'm Robin and this is Savor at Home number 74. What I'm trying today is actually a bottle that my training partner got me for Christmas. And I know Christmas was 2 months ago, but better late than never. And I did have a sip and a sniff out of the bottle at the gym. However, that's not the proper way to taste. So this will be the proper tasting of Angel's Envy finished rye. You guys have definitely seen Angel's Envy before. I mean, check out that bottle. It's very iconic. But this is their rye that is finished in Caribbean rum casks. Now, Angel's Envy is known for their port finish Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, and they do make that in-house. However, their rye, they source from MGP. So this is your classic 95.5 mash bill produced by MGP in Indiana. So that means 95% rye, 5% malted barley. It's aged in new charred American oak barrels for some undisclosed amount of time, and then finished for up to 18 months in Caribbean rum casks that previously held cognac. Angel's Envy is pretty unique because everything that they produce is a finished whiskey. So their bourbon is finished in port barrels, their rye here is finished in rum barrels. For their 10th anniversary, they released a bourbon that was finished in Mizunara oak barrels, and that was an expensive bottle. And that whiskey sold for an MSRP of $350, I believe. But most distilleries don't do this. Most distilleries have a few expressions that are barrel finished rather than their entire lineup. So as the story goes, Lincoln Henderson and his son Wes co-founded Angel's Envy. Now, Lincoln had worked for Brown-Forman for a number of years and was the creator of Woodford Reserve and Gentleman Jack. And after he worked for Brown-Forman, he retired for 7 years, and then him and his son decided to start up a barrel-finished bourbon company. This was not common practice back in 2011 when they released Angel's Envy, the port-finished bourbon. This is common practice in Scotland, by the way. So they kind of took that idea from Scotland and brought it to American whiskey. So Angel's Envy was released in 2011, and by 2016, the Angel's Envy distillery was built in downtown Louisville. So that means at first they were a non-distiller producer where they were sourcing their whiskeys and then finishing them. When they opened their distillery in 2016, it became the first full production whiskey distillery in downtown Louisville, which is pretty cool. I did pop into Angel's Envy when I was in Louisville in October, and tours were completely sold out, so I only got to browse the gift shop and peek through the window, and it looks like a cool place. All right, let's get to tasting. The Angel's Envy finished rye is sitting at 50% ABV, and check out that color. There's some good caramel copper color to it. And the first thing I smell is cinnamon. It's like, yeah, cinnamon rolls, like really, really sweet cinnamon rolls with icing. So like straight up Cinnabon cinnamon rolls. I also get a little bit of butter pickles, but it's like if you amped up the sweetness of the butter pickles. Like maple buttercream frosting. There's a little bit of roasted pecans and a hint of some floral notes in the very, very background. Oh my goodness, that's kettle corn. There's some candied orange in there. I'm getting a French oak note. And if you've never smelled French oak, it's kind of like a dried piece of mulch with like a baking spice edge to it. That's the best way I can describe it. Okay, let's taste. There's not a lot of heat, which is great. That's why I expect for something that's a good 50% ABV bottle of whiskey. I wish there was more viscosity it doesn't quite get there. It doesn't quite get creamy, but it is just as sweet on the palate as it is on the nose, but I'm getting a lot more of these caramely, salted caramel notes and a lot more baking spice. There's definitely cinnamon and clove in there. And then there's some citrus, some more of like orange peel that comes along with the baking spices, and a little bit of a floral note. Now, the finish, the aftertaste is just a lot of cherries that are drenched in syrup. So again, that sweetness just carries through and really, really lingers in your mouth. Overall, I think this is very tasty. It's a very sweet whiskey, but sometimes I'm in the mood for that. If I'm in the mood for a cocktail though, I might just grab some Angel's Envy finished rye because it kind of gives me that feeling with all the sweetness that is present. So shout out to Chris, my training partner, for giving me this bottle for Christmas. And also shout out to my Patreons. Thank you guys so much for helping to support the channel and for being the start of what I hope is a really neat community over on Patreon. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, share it with friends, and let me know if you've tried Angel's Envy finished rye before, what you thought of it.